Next to me is the 2024 BMW M3 CS. My name is Ronnie DiMaggio with BMW of Morristown, and in this video we're going to be doing a thorough walk around and overview with this very special BMW M3. So the M3 CS is new for 2024, and it is the top of the M3 lineup. It is the most serious, most high performance, and most expensive BMW M3 that you can buy today. We're going to talk about all the changes that BMW made to take a regular M3 competition xDrive and turn it into an M3 CS. In the world of BMW, CS is the top of the line. It's the most high performance. It is the most serious, and we're going to go over everything that BMW changed on the CS to get it to that level. We'll talk about the engine, we'll talk about the styling, we'll talk about the chassis and suspension improvements. We'll also talk about the interior and touch on practicality as well. So let's get started under the hood. Under the hood of the M3 CS is a familiar inline six. It is a 3-liter twin-turbo inline six. It's called the S58. It's the same engine that we see in the M3, the M4, the X3M, X4M. However, BMW has worked it over a little bit for the M3 CS to produce extra horsepower. So the M3 CS does 543 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. That's a 40 horsepower bump over the standard M3 competition. However, it is the same torque figure, so no extra torque, at least on paper. However, I'm a little bit skeptical of that because BMW says that the majority of the M3 CS's extra horsepower comes from an additional 6.5 or so pounds of boost pressure. So the M3 competition does about 24 pounds of boost. The M3 CS does a little bit over 30.5 pounds of boost. And generally speaking, if you add 6.5 pounds of boost, you'll get probably a little bit more than just 40 horsepower. And of course, you will add torque, even though BMW says that they didn't. So BMW, this is again a case of them being conservative with their horsepower and torque ratings, as they always are. So suspect that when these hit the dyno, they dyno above their quoted power figures, as most BMW models do. So that is paired exclusively, this engine, to an 8-speed automatic transmission and M xDrive, so it is all-wheel drive. Unlike the M4 CSL, which it is somewhat closely related to, the M3 CS is all-wheel drive. However, it's M xDrive, so you can select rear-wheel drive if you would like, or you can leave it in the standard 4-wheel drive mode. So that is the engine and the powertrain of the M3 CS. However, while we're still under the hood, I do want to point out this strut tower brace, which is CS specific. Of course, this isn't actually related to the powertrain at all, but you can see it best under the hood. This is for added chassis rigidity. Looks to me, to my eyes, as like it's the same one that's in the M4 CSL. Looks awesome under the hood, and of course has a functional improvement on the chassis stiffness and rigidity, which is always good. So that's under the hood. Let's talk about front end styling. Up front with the M3 CS is most definitely my favorite angle on this car, because this car looks so mean and aggressive from the front. It is fantastic. Let's start with what is my favorite design element of the M3 CS. That is the yellow daytime running lights. We saw these first, I believe, on the M5 CS. We saw them on the M4 CSL, and now we get them on the M3 CS. They look so cool. It adds a really nice sort of motorsport flair to the front end of the M3 CS, and the laser lights already look awesome even when they're white in normal M3 and M4s. They look especially cool in yellow here on the M3 CS. Another CS touch on the front is the grille with the special M3 CS badging in red. You also have this nice red outline along the outside edge of the frameless kidney grille to add a little bit of a color pop there. This looks very similar to the grille on the M4 CSL. I can't confirm if it's the exact same part number, but it is the same design. So nice to see a special little touch there. Moving down on the front fascia of the car, we have the same, again, front splitter as on the M4 CSL. Again, not sure if it's the same part number, but looks the same to me, same design. And again, it looks awesome. Really aggressive with these extra little, almost 2 inches of extra width on the edges of the bumper. Looks really cool, and of course functionally has a purpose in that it helps with downforce, pushes the front end of the car down onto the ground to help with grip and whatnot while cornering and while accelerating, while traveling at high speeds. All that stuff, downforce is always good for the most part. So that's really cool. That's a CS specific touch. Also in that area, you'll see the carbon fiber air inlets. Those are just the same out of an M3 with the carbon fiber exterior package. However, when paired with the grille and the splitter, it definitely comes together to look really nicely. The M3 CS is just equipped with the carbon fiber exterior package that you could get on an M3 competition or otherwise as standard. So it has the carbon front, it has the carbon mirror caps, it has the carbon spoiler, carbon diffuser, all that good stuff. It also has some extra carbon fiber. Primarily, the hood is made of carbon fiber, and BMW used carbon fiber for the entire hood. If you open the hood, you can see it's fully carbon fiber. However, they painted parts of it and then they left other parts unpainted. And if you feel this line where it goes from carbon to frozen solid white, which is the exterior color of this car, by the way, you can actually feel the line in the paint, which is pretty cool to see that they must have masked that off in the factory. I'm sure that is a bit of a pain on the assembly line, but they paint part of the hood, leave the rest exposed gloss carbon fiber with a beautiful and clean weave. So really cool to see that. That's the front end of the car. Looks absolutely fantastic. Let's move along to the side. Along the side of the M3 CS, we have some styling changes to talk about, but I'm also going to touch on the suspension and chassis changes that BMW made to the CS to make it the performance car that it is. So let's start up front with the wheels. Of course, these wheels jump out at you. They are painted gold for one. They're also a design that you cannot get on any other M3 model. They look awesome, and of course they are light. Unsprung mass reduction is a really important thing with sports cars, track cars, and performance cars. So BMW took some care to make those wheels nice and light, as well as look really nice. Behind the wheels, you have the standard M compound brakes on this specific CS. However, if you would like, you can option M carbon ceramics as well. These calipers are painted in black. The wheels you can get in black as well. Speaking of colors, this is, like I said earlier, frozen solid white. However, you can get the CS in signal green, which is a super bright green, metallic, black sapphire metallic, or Brooklyn gray, and of course frozen solid white here like you see. I think frozen solid white looks awesome, contrasts really nicely with the carbon fiber, but a couple nice colors there for the CS. Now, hardware-wise, as far as suspension changes, the CS gets CS-specific dampers. The dampers are unique to the CS, and so are the anti-roll bars. Front and rear dampers and anti-roll bars are CS-specific. That means they are a little bit stiffer than the standard M3 competition to reduce body roll, improve stability, keep the car hunkered down, all that good stuff to make the CS a little bit more capable on track. So those are specific to the CS. Now, you can feel that even just driving around the parking lot, just taking this car from one end of our parking lot to the other where I'm filming it right now. That improvement in the suspension, the increased stiffness is immediately noticeable. You can see it, you can feel it when you drive it, and I say you can see it because another CS specific thing is the alignment. BMW has changed the alignment from factory to be a more aggressive setup than the standard M3 competition. You have more negative camber. You can see the tops of the wheels are tipped in a little bit more for the M3 CS. We also, of course, I'm sure have toe and whatnot adjustments for the alignment, everything that goes into a more track focused alignment BMW did here on the M3 CS. You're going to wear out tires faster, but you're also going to have sharper turn in, a little bit quicker steering response, all that good stuff. So the hardware changes as far as suspension goes, specific alignment, specific dampers, and specific anti-roll bars for the M3 CS. Let's keep moving down the side of the car. Styling wise, we have our side grille here, which is unique to the CS with the red outline on the badges. We have our M carbon winged mirror caps. We have the black painted lower portions as we do on all M3 models. You get a carbon fiber roof as standard, no moon roof available on the CS. Carbon fiber roof definitely looks awesome. We have again a beautiful gold wheel in the back, of course. And the wheels are definitely my favorite part about the side profile of the CS. Of course, the M3 has a beautiful side profile in general, but as far as things that jump out to you the most, these wheels are just fantastic. BMW absolutely hit a home run with this wheel design. They look great. So that's the side of the car. Those are the suspension changes. Let's move around to the back. Around back with the M3 CS, we have a couple of styling changes to talk about, but also one pretty significant hardware change. Let's talk about the styling first. The M3 CS specific thing in the back is, of course, the M3 CS badge. The CS badge will not be found on any other M3, obviously, and it looks really cool. It's the same black badge you get on the front and the sides, and it has that same red outline, which looks awesome. That red outlining on the badging is, of course, specific to the CS version of the M3. You have a carbon fiber deck lid spoiler, which looks awesome and ties in with the rest of the carbon on the car. You have the carbon roof, carbon mirrors, carbon front splitter, carbon hood, and of course your carbon diffuser here on the back. So lots of carbon, and it all ties in together really, really nicely. The carbon diffuser also frames the M quad tip exhaust. Now, it's not the regular M quad tip exhaust. The M3 CS gets a unique and CS specific titanium exhaust system. So titanium exhausts are cool for two reasons. One, titanium is light, and that is always to the benefit of a performance car. Lightweight is always better. So it is lighter than a standard M3 exhaust. However, the other benefit of titanium is that it sounds really good. Titanium exhausts, I'm not sure scientifically why the type of metal affects the sound of the exhaust. If I had to guess, I think I've heard that it has something to do with the way the heat in the exhaust interacts with the metal, and it expands and contracts and maybe changes the noise. I'm not an expert on that topic, but I do know one thing for sure. This exhaust sounds pretty good. Go ahead and take a listen to the CS's titanium exhaust. So as you heard, the M3 CS sounds pretty good. That titanium exhaust does make it louder. It is definitely louder than a standard M3 competition. However, it also actually sounds different. The tone is different than a normal M3 competition. It might not come through, that difference might not come through super well on camera, but in person, if you've heard enough M3s, you know that the CS does have its own unique sound. So that's really cool. That's the rear of the car. Let's pop the trunk and take a look at the practicality as well as the back seat. Then we'll hop up front. All right, the trunk in the M3 CS is not super noteworthy. This is one of the few areas that BMW, of course, has left unchanged. It's the same size as a regular M3, so the trunk is the same size. The inside of the trunk is all the same. The seats fold down in the same way. You have your same 40-20-40 split folding rear seats, which is really nice. For practicality, you have your nice felt liner, so things aren't hard and rattling around. You have your two storage cubbies on either side of the main trunk area, but overall, nothing really noteworthy in the trunk of the M3 CS other than the fact that, just like every other M3 model, it is perfectly practical, nice and usable, and reasonably spacious. One thing I will mention, this is again not CS specific, but it's not a power trunk like the M3s with executive package have. You have no power trunk here, so you do have to manually close it. Not a big deal, but worth noting for the CS. That's the trunk. Let's move into the back seat. All right, the back of the M3 CS, unlike the trunk, does have some cool CS-specific touches, which we'll talk about in the front as well, but that is the really cool CS-specific colorway on the interior. So you have black leather seats, but you have a perforated center section in both the front and the back seats, but the inner holes of the perforation are red. So it's not actually red leather, but parts of the perforation are red, and they have this cool wave pattern. It's going to be tough to show on camera, I think, but I will do my best. You guys are seeing these cool red-ish perforated leather inlays that continues front and back, which is really nice to see. As far as space goes, that is the same as a regular M3, so headroom, knee room, leg room, hip room, all that stuff is perfectly good. It's a perfectly usable, practical rear seat. I can sit straight up, no problem, with my head. My knees don't even come close to the front seat here. So really nice back seat. You have some red stitching on the doors like you have in the front. Again, specific to the CS, that red and black sort of color theme in the interior. You also see the red leather that sort of lines the inner parts of the cutouts for the front carbon fiber bucket seats. You see that from the back, so it just feels sporty. There's a lot of like red touches kind of splashed across the interior, which feels and looks nice. Another thing that is CS specific is the center console is totally different. Now we'll talk about this more in the front, because it is sort of a front seat thing, but you see it from the back and it looks really cool. You're sitting back here and you just have this really cool black leather mound with the red stitching in the center. Nothing fancy, no vents, no nothing, no charging ports. It's just business. Carbon fiber and leather to make it look finished, but really cool and sort of focused looking center console. So that's really cool. Again, we'll talk about that more in the front. So speaking of the front, let's hop up there. All right, up front with the M3 CS. First things first, when you sit down in this car, just sitting in it, you definitely feel like you're in something special. It does not feel like you're just hopping into any other M3 competition. There's a lot that BMW did to make it feel that way in here, so let's start talking about what they did. The centerpiece probably of this interior for most people would be the Alcantara steering wheel, which looks awesome, feels awesome, and works nicely. The benefit of it functionally on track is that it's supposed to be a little bit easier to hold on to. I just think it looks really cool. So that is awesome that BMW did the Alcantara steering wheel, but maintained the M-color tricolor stitching on the inner rim. They also added a red noon stripe at the 12 o'clock position, which is great. So the steering wheel is really cool. Cannot get that in any other M3 model. So really nice to see the Alcantara steering wheel. It also has carbon fiber trim around the buttons, carbon fiber paddle shifters. You have carbon fiber in the center console as well as on the dashboard. So lots of carbon on the interior, just like on the exterior. If you look forward, you see your carbon fiber hood. So carbon everywhere in the CS, which is pretty cool. So that's your steering wheel. Behind the steering wheel, we'll touch on it briefly because it's not a huge thing with the CS. There's not much that's different about the iDrive system in the CS compared to a regular M3. However, you do have iDrive 8, which is fantastic. You have your fully digital and customizable gauge cluster screen in the center, and you can press your M mode there to get your more sporty looking setup in the gauge cluster. And the center screen is, of course, in the same single piece of glass as is true of all iDrive 8 cars, and that is touch. You have your iDrive controller, works fantastic. And of course, like with all 23 and up M3 and M4 models, or 24 for M4 models, you get the M-specific version of iDrive 8. So that means the tiles on the home screen are sort of slanted. You have the M colors in the background. It's just really cool. And the CS-specific stuff happens when you go to like the My BMW screen. You can see that it's an M3 CS. It even has the M3 CS badge. It has the gold wheels. So cool to see that. But that's the gauge cluster in the infotainment system. It works really well. Not a ton that's unique to the CS in that respect, but a great gauge cluster and infotainment system nonetheless. Other CS-specific things on the interior include the colors and the leather and stitching patterns. So, of course, it's a black leather interior, but you do have CS-specific red stitching on the bolsters as well as the door cards. You have red accents you can see here on the outer parts of the bolsters for the shoulders, the inner parts for the backrest, and of course you have that cool red perforated leather inlay in the seat, which is really nice. And again, CS specific. You have your CS badge in the seat there, so that color pattern and that stitching and perforated leather with the red is all CS specific, which is really nice. Speaking of the seats, in addition to just the leather that they're wrapped in, these are the standard M carbon bucket seats, but that is a great thing because these seats are just incredible. Super, super comfortable. They look awesome. They're really supportive. The side bolsters are adjustable, so they fit probably more body types than you would expect just by looking at them. You don't need to be a super thin person to fit in these comfortably. I will say the lower part, the hip bolsters, thigh bolsters are a little bit tight, so if you have a little bit larger of a lower body, you might be a little bit uncomfortable in the lower part, but the seats are super comfortable and do fit a wider range of body types than you might expect. Looking at them, you'd think you have to be rail skinny to fit into them. That's really not the case. They're really comfortable for quite a good amount of people, so the seats are awesome. The other CS specific thing that really jumps out at you is the center console. So this is a big departure from normal M3 models. You don't have the standard opening center console with storage and an armrest, and in manual cars, a wireless charger and plug in for your USB-C and whatnot. You don't get any of that. Instead, you just get this big chunk of carbon fiber with some leather and a cool little CS hand pad here. That is all you get. It's lighter, and it's definitely cooler looking than the normal center console in an M3. So you do still have a USB-C down here. It's just kind of hidden under the handrest in this little storage tray. And you do, speaking of which, get this little storage tray at the back, just no covered storage. You do still get a wireless charger up front below the screen there in front of the shifter where you would expect it to be, just like where it is in normal M3 models, or at least automatic transmission equipped M3 models. And the handrest here in the center console says CS on it, which is nice, looks cool, reminds you that you're in something special. It's also a nice place to rest your hand while you're using the iDrive controller here, or you're just resting your hand on the shifter. You would think no armrest would sort of get tiring. But the bolster is super tall, so you can sort of rest your elbow on the bolster, or you can use this nice little leather pad here with the CS logo, and it's a nice place to rest your arm while you're cruising along, so you don't miss the armrest as much as you might expect. Another thing worth noting about the interior of the M3 CS, in addition to all the really cool CS specific stuff, is that the CS is actually still pretty well equipped. You might think it's, you know, the track focused performance version, they're going to strip it down, it's going to have nothing options wise, but you still get a wireless charger, you still get your heads up display, you still get heated seats, you still get the Harman Kardon sound system, so it's actually reasonably well equipped in here. It's not a stripped down, you know, the CSL doesn't have Harman Kardon, for example. This is not quite that serious. The seats are still power adjustable, whereas the buckets in the CL are manually adjustable. You need an Allen key to adjust the seats. The CS is not quite that hardcore. It is pretty hardcore in its performance intentions, but the interior at least is reasonably well equipped, which is really nice to see, especially for the price tag that this car carries. The full price breakdown is of course in the description of the video as always if you're curious, but BMW has maintained sort of usability in the car, which is really nice. As far as the other M specific stuff, the setup button and whatnot, none of that is different or will be unfamiliar. If you are used to an M3, you'll be very familiar with the setup here. You have your M Pro with the M traction control and the drift analyzer. That's standard on the CS. Again, another feature that's really nice to have. That's standard. CS is super well equipped. So that's the interior of the CS. Overall, I think BMW did a fantastic job of making it feel unique and special on the inside. Does not just feel like any other M3. It definitely has a little bit of flair to it, which is awesome. And it's comfortable, it's well equipped. It's just a great place to be. Feels cool, feels special, and it's still usable while being the interior of a really high performance car. So good job on the interior with the CS. And with that said, that's going to pretty much do it for the video. So let's hop outside and we'll wrap up with our final thoughts. All right, so that's going to do it for this walk around and overview with the 2024 BMW M3 CS. Overall, I think BMW did a fantastic job with the CS. They did a great job of making it look more aggressive without doing anything too crazy. The performance is really impressive. Low 3 seconds to 60, and still, you know, assuming that's a little bit underrated, almost 550 horsepower. Really just an impressive car on paper and in person. Everything about it I think is great. I really don't think they missed a beat with this one, so an absolute home run for BMW. I love this car. It's one of my favorite modern BMWs. Its presence, its performance, it's all there. It's awesome. So that's the M3 CS. Really hope you guys enjoyed checking it out as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you guys so much for sticking along with me through the video, subscribing to the channel, and liking the videos. We all appreciate that very much. So if you did like the video, please go ahead and click like, and if you think we deserved it, subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at BMW of Morristown. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.